Howdy, Banger pals. Blaine Smith joining you for another Overkill Reviews, Banger's weekly metal review show. And this time, I'm once again off the death and black metal beat, but I'm still talking about the devil.
Yours is only to summon away and send the hunt to hell. Nothing can take my kingdom away. I am divine. Foreign battalions will never prevail in this land of mine. Turn back the tide with staunch resistance. Turn the tide. Hold back the tide at my insistence. Repel the tide. Turn the tide. Turn back the tide. Repel.
Yes, we're talking about the new album from Satan called Songs in Crimson. It's out today, September 13th on Metal Blade Records. So, man, Satan are a supreme rarity in the metal world. Formed in 1979 in Newcastle, they're a band that released amazing records in their time. Then they got back together in 2011 and continued to release amazing albums like they never missed a step. What? This is all with the mostly same core lineup, too. I don't think any of us want to litigate the Blind Fury and Pariah stuff to break down that statement, but basically all you need to know is the guys are still doing it, all without the benefit of a young blood boy or nothing. Just a bunch of guys in their 60s releasing music like they're all 25. You love to see it. So, how does the newest record in an exceptional discography sound? It sounds like shit. Wait, that's bad news. Look, I really wanted to start positive on this one, but the whole record sounds distractingly off. Like, enough that production is what I'm going to talk about first and frequently, because I think that's the most important thing for you to know about, you, the listener, you, the consumer. This was especially annoying for me because I just did an upgrade and overhaul of my computer audio setup, and it got me like, oh no. Did I waste a bunch of money? Was this all for naught? Is there something wrong with how I've set things up? Wait, are these not good enough? Do I need to spend more money? But just to be clear, they are good enough. It just sounds bad. It sounds bad on my new studio monitors. It sounds bad on my high-end headphones. And don't worry about the ears. A gal's just got to make her money somehow. Hell, just for a sanity check, I put the record on my phone and listened to them on my earbuds. And you'll be shocked to find out it actually sounded pretty good. No, of course it didn't. It sounded bad. How does it sound bad? In like every way conceivable. In the completely objective sense, it sounds compressed, distorted, and artifacty as if they sent me 96 kilobyte per second MP3s, but they're 320s. I'm looking at it. I can see they're 320s. In a slightly more subjective, but I still think fairly objective sense, the mix is also nasty. Vocals dominate every song. Guitars are inconsistent. The bass feels like it's part of a different song, and the drums, those poor drums. And look, I know when I have to say this, someone always goes, well, it sounds good to me. If it does, that's fine. All I need you to know is I listen to a mountain of albums every month, and this sounds different than those albums, and the ways it sounds different makes my body recoil. If you can get past this, great, I'm happy for you, but I personally find the production bordering on unlistenable. It's not Morbid Angel Kingdom's disdain bad, but it's close. Like, listen to these drums and tell me you like how those cymbals sound. Thankfully, history has shown us that Satan can never really get that bad. History's shown us that by Satan never really getting that average. Satan have always been that exceptional. So whatever else I say about the record, the thing is still delivered with immense energy and conviction. I don't think it's time for the band to hang things up. This isn't some guys past their prime phoning in a record. Songs are fast and frantic, and it's a record that's never boring. There's a chunk of good songs on here in tracks like Captives, Curse in Disguise, Deadly Crimson. Basically, the rule is if the track title has a C word in it, you're pretty safe. Peculiarly, though, those songs are on the back half of the album. It's got weird pacing to it, with only Sacramental Rites and its great 70s prog feel being the song that clicked with me from the bow of the ship, and that's track 4. Unfortunately, this exacerbates the production issues by further impeding an immediate connection with the record. Still, I'd frequently hit the repeat button when Captives and its blues on amphetamines instead of heroin vibe came on. As the album title suggests, and Rust confirmed, this is a more song-focused record than an album experience, so I don't feel as bad hitting those next and previous buttons as my taste decides. Also, just a quick pat on the back for resisting the current old guy temptation of AI generating some monstrosity from the cover. Their continued partnership with Elleran Kantor makes me look forward to every album outside as much as inside. Anyways, yeah, have a little bit of Captives on me.
Denied the space that was needed to grow into something beyond mere existence. Now's the time for your people to rise up, fulfill their own predestination.
Unfortunately, there is a bit of time creep seeping in. Again, it doesn't permeate the whole record. The aforementioned tracks are all great and everything works on them. And I'm not about to say Brian Ross isn't still an amazing singer. He is, and when everything meshes, it's working. But there are some lyrics that make me squirm like a TikTok cringe compilation. Honestly, they make me squirm like saying the words TikTok cringe compilation. On album opener, Frantic Zero, you get, your descendants will have to make do. They'll never miss what they never knew. Electricity and computers too. Like, ick. This is another moment that highlights the album's biggest weakness, production. I know, I'm sorry, I'm hitting on it a lot, but it's really that big of a problem. If the vocals weren't here, if they weren't mixed like Brian is trying to crawl through my speakers and lick the inside of my mouth, I might not have noticed as much. But as it stands, that line is served up like a fucking platter every time, and it makes me dive for the next button.
Next, up they come next.
And Brian's not the only one that makes a whoopsie. Well, I like his vocal performance on Truth Bullet, and it's mixed better with that track. Unfortunately, the track instrumentally is a weird bounce back and forth of like Megadeth and 60s rock. If that sounds disjointed, it is. Like, I'm not crazy that that's pretty Symphony of Destruction-y, no? Shot at Graham English either, because him and Sean perform quite well on the album. The rhythm section is solid and would be stealing my attention for all the right reasons. If they weren't mixed like this, sorry, I know. I guess you could spin the bass as a positive because it's mixed like Graham is standing 10 feet to stage left. It's certainly easy to pick out. This means he can't slack off for a second, and he working his ass off. Sean is working just as hard on drums, too, under the heavy boot of the mix. Whether it's a gallop across the plains on Curse in Disguise or a rolling trip around the kit on Deadly Crimson, his performance is so full of life that I'm sure it'll be a joy to see live on their current European tour. Yes, that's another shot at the mix wrapped up in a compliment for Sean. Well, at least there's parts that make me want to brave this mix to hear them. It's rare to have a rhythm section that's as show-stealing as Satan's has always been, and I'm happy that that's not fading. And yes, obviously guitars and vocals have strong moments on the record. Turn the Tide blends speed metal and 70s prog, and it's decidedly not disjointed. And because I read the cringed line of lyrics, let's read a lyric I love. Nero played the violin while the city burned down. What will you be holding when your time comes around? That's great. The only way I would like that more is if they made a joke about Nero holding his boy wife, but that's probably not really the kind of thing he's going for. That's more plain comedy than. But regardless, it's a good point. It makes you think. It's a great lyric. Love it. So first up, sorry for saying boy wife in a review, but look up Sporus. Nero was a weird guy. And also, I'm sorry I have to say bad things about Satan. I don't want to have to review their first major stumble. I don't know if you could tell by the way I qualified all my negative statements. I'm not having my normal glee with stomping on somebody's dreams. Songs of Crimson suffers from some uneven songs and has more duds than a Satan record ever has. There are tracks to be enjoyed here, though how they stack up against the best in this band's very strong catalog will have to be seen over time. It's an okay album, but okay isn't really what we expect out of Satan, especially with how amazing all their releases have been since their reunion. And when you take an album that's just okay and you mix it like this, the production is just so fatiguing. I seriously couldn't listen to the album more than twice in a row without needing a break. Unfortunately, an okay album has a pretty clear score and terrible production. The mathematics aren't complicated here. It's a 2.5 out of 5 building skulls from the cover. While the review might be done, the video's not done. We, of course, have shoutouts. I've always got a couple more records for you. Unfortunately, no heavy metal coming out this week. Nothing that sounds like Satan. I will have a good record for you next week if you want some heavy metal, though. So, what do I have for you? I have death metal and I have black metal. Shocker, I know. So, which one do you want first? I'll give you the black metal first. Taur-im-Duinath, Verso casa on Dusktone comes out today, and if the Nile record didn't do it for you, Apep, Before Whom Evil Trembles, War Anthem records, it's some more Egyptian-themed death metal. So there you go. There's 2 records that are not super related to what we just listened to, but are good, and I think you should get them. So that's been the review. What does this sound like on your system? Is it also janked up? Tell me about your experience in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one, gang.